Phenomenon-based learning. It's something new that we have now started in Finland. We have a new curriculum for a few years now, and in the new curriculum we want to a little bit disrupt also the traditional way of doing and learning. And what's new in it is that we don't want any more so subject-based teaching and learning, because there is, at the moment in the world, there's so much changes happening, these wicked problems that we have. So there's a big phenomena that we have and we have to tackle. And these are multidisciplinary. So therefore the teaching also has to be multidisciplinary. And in this way there has to be more collaboration between different subject teachers, and that's kind of where the phenomenon-based learning comes from. That we have a phenomena that we look from different angles. And it's a process where the student starts to think about, what do I know already about this phenomena? Because we can't think that each child knows exactly the same. They all have different experiences and different backgrounds. So each student starts from a different starting point towards the phenomena, and then they have questions. What do I want to know about this phenomena? And they make the research questions, and then they start researching, and it becomes this inquiry-based learning methods also. And they can do it together with other students if they have similar questions, or they can do it alone. It depends in different ways, and then the knowledge can be everywhere. So the knowledge itself is not only the teachers, but it can be parents, or it can be experts outside the school, or it can be even other peers, so they are learning from each other. And then they share and they do something about it, and then they present it to others, and then they learn from each other at the end. The students have choices in a way that also that they can choose whether to work in a collaborative way with each other or individually alone. But this is where the teacher's position sort of comes in, because the teacher has also, for this period of phenomenon-based learning, we have, for example, it can be 5 weeks or 6 weeks when they do this process. And the teacher must set up objectives and goals for the process. And the teacher can say that during this phenomena, if we have 5, for example, during the year, during this particular phenomena, the goal is collaborative learning. So then you must also do this way. And for example, critical thinking can be one of the goals. And then that can be also during the process can be evaluated with an ongoing methods. So the teacher's position is there to facilitate the process, but also to show what are the objectives and the goals where we're going. What is it that you need to really also learn during the process? Not only the content, but also the kind of the skills and the issues that the teacher is evaluating. Those has to be set in first to the students, so that they know that it's also an evaluation process during the time. So it's not at the end then the teacher says, okay, now I'm evaluating you. No, because you have to know beforehand that why we're doing this. And what is the thing that also I have to, in a way, go for and show during the process. So the learning environment, how we see it, it's everywhere. It's holistic, and it's all around us. Everything is a learning space or learning environment. Not only the building, if you talk about a school, but we talk in Helsinki, where I come from, the city of Helsinki, the capital city of Finland. We say that the whole city is the learning environment, but it's not even there, because it's the whole world. Because nowadays we can use all kind of digital tools to learn from outside the country and outside the city and outside the building. So the learning environment is everything. But then if we think about the school as a building, and how does that building, when we are in it, also sort of support the phenomenon-based learning, is that it has to have different kind of spaces that are either engaging or are that where you are able to do collaboratively things, or you are able to be in a bigger group. So we have different kind of living rooms. there's no more kind of corridors, because the corridors also has to be learning spaces. And then also we don't have any more classrooms, because the classroom has to be flexible, and sometimes they can be smaller, different kind of rooms where you can go if you want to do silent work and individual work, but then you have to have these bigger spaces and open spaces where you can collaborate and you can move and you can do kind of inquiry questions. So we are designing new schools at the moment totally from a different angle, in a way that how it supports this kind of learning methods, where different age groups students can work together, and we don't have any more kind of even levels that here are only the third graders or here are the seventh graders, because at the same time it might be that, for example, eighth grader and a fifth grader are at the same time learning about human bodies and about kind of how human body functions and so forth, and they can do it together. Why do we have to mix them in different age groups? Learning environments, of course, always, wherever we are in contact with our environment, and the environment has to be sort of that it enhances curiosity, it's cozy, it's safe. It's so that it gives us that kind of a feeling that we want to be learning there, and that kind of a thinking process is happening, that there can be creativity or curiosity, and that's why it has a very big influence, even colors or textures and so forth. And that's why, for example, if we have, you would say, like traditional classrooms, we would have more maybe glass, and you can see through it, and you can see that when you walk by you can see what other people are also doing, because you are curious about it, you want to know what the others are doing, so that you can also see that, okay, hey, over there they're doing this kind of a thing, and that's where I can also collaborate and I can learn also from them, so that we don't box them inside kind of walls that we don't see through. So it has to be more open space in order to be more collaborative and to enhance this kind of curiosity. Yeah, I think Finland is always looked at as the academics and everything, that it's something that because of the PISA that we have succeeded so well. But we don't measure our students, or we don't train our students for PISA. We don't like the academics always follows when there's a good pedagogy, and so we don't rank schools, we don't train them for PISA or any of these kind of national testing, and so we have the trust in our system. We have public schools, we have schools that are open for everybody. So if you come from a poor family or from a rich family, you are in the same school from that area, and we believe that in each and every area and each and every school they are equal, and in every school we have good teachers and good pedagogy, and that's how the academics will follow. So it's kind of a trust that we trust in our system. So the 21st century skills, the 4 C's, creativity, collaboration, communication and critical thinking, these are in the Finnish national curriculum, but we have added more. And what we have added, for example, is about so that each student has to be able to take care of themselves first. So they have this kind of maintaining skills, that they have to care about themselves, and in order to care about yourself, then you can care about others, and that's it's an important skill, that you eat healthily, you have your sports and sort of kind of the health and nutrition and all of this. So these kind of skills we're teaching, and that's in our core, which is added to these 4 C's. And other one, because we have is it 7? So we have this, and then the other one is about culture and about identity, in a way that we communication, of course, it's communicating with language, but culture is bigger and more about in the identity. So these kind of issues are very important also. So that the students know about their roots, and that can go abroad. It doesn't have to be national culture or national roots, because we have a lot of migrant students in Helsinki. 2020, now in few years' time, we have about 20% of our students are going to be having different mother tongue than Finnish and Swedish, which are our official languages. So we have very multicultural, and that's why this culture is also very important. And one more aspect is entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is not about being a kind of a startup, whatever, but it's kind of skills that where you have endurance. We have this word in Finnish which is sisu, and that's a kind of a famous word. And it's to endure things that you don't just drop things off, that you think about the process and you do the project or whatever it is until the end, and it doesn't, so you endure it, and that's kind of a skill also that is very important, because nowadays it's very hectic, the life, but you have to be able to also do things for longer time and to think about the kind of obstacles and challenges that there are. And final skill, what we have or goal, it's participation. So that you participate in the society, you participate in the school, but you become an active citizen. And this active citizenship also means, for example, not only democracy and these kind of things, but also about ecology and sustainability. That we participate and take care of our nature, because of the wicked problems that I started with, this phenomenon-based. We have so many big problems in the world, and one of them is to do with climate change and these kind of things. So that's why participation and participating towards making a better world, and also making the better world sustainable. So in Finland we have a national curriculum. It's usually made for 10 years. And it started 2016, this new curriculum, but obviously the work before that was a long process. So in a way, 2014 it was already made for the national level, and then each school always adapts it in their own. Each city adapts it, and then each school adapts it. But we have to follow the national curriculum, and it is based in theories on how we know how students learn, and how learning is a collaborative process, and how we know where the world is going. So because if we think about that, we have a curriculum from 2016 until 2026. So we have to look into the future, that what are the kind of things that we need to be implementing now today. And especially if we think about the students who are now 7 years old. So what are they in 40 years time, when they are 47 or something like that. So we need to be looking really, and these are the kind of things that we have researchers who do these kind of researches, and that's what we implement in our curriculum. And for example, the climate change, how it is very important, is already written in our curriculum, and that was written in 2014. And it says that, for example, that each person has to be eco-social person, that is this ecological and social at the same time, and these are all written there in our curriculum. So it's not like something that we are now stepping in and thinking about it now because it's becoming more, but it has to be earlier thought of, and we have to listen to multidisciplinary researchers, and that's what I think we do in Finland, that we have researchers from different areas who come together and think about what is the national curriculum. So the next curriculum, we start thinking about it maybe in 2020 something, because then it has to be implemented in 2026. A lot of people don't want maybe changes, but but everything is changing all the time. There's nothing constant. Everything is changing all the time. Change is constant in a way, and that's something that we have to also learn, that teachers and schools are evolving all the time, And sometimes, we have been asked that why are we changing in Finland our curriculum? Why are we changing our schools? Because we have been so good with PISA. Why don't we just stay and be the same, what we have done before, which has been good? But if we just stay there, then we don't change with the world. And that's why we need to change with the world all the time and look into it and how we can be even doing it better for the next generations. And when do we know that have we succeeded? Then that is a very big kind of a question, because then it can take even 40, 50 years. How do we know? It's a very big question, but we need to be open-minded for the fact that change is constant, and we need to be living with this change all the time.